Hey everybody, this is Chip Dodd with Team ThisABILITY Adventure Racing. Today the Central Virginia Orienteering Club had an O-Meet and I try to attend every one because it's excellent navigation training. I do a map markup similar that I would do if I was actually doing an adventure race, which is sacrilege to a real orienteering person because you're supposed to just get handed the map and start running. But I'm not there to compete as an orienteer. I'm there to learn navigation specifically for adventure racing. So if you got a minute, check out this video. I'm going to walk you through my track, which as you can see by the screen, it was a very small park, so they had us going all over it. It's going to be a little bit muddy, meaning the map is muddy, but it was a really good race. I learned some things. I made a couple bobbles, and hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes. So let's start off with the first thing is the map was 1/6000th scale, which means it's really zoomed in. Things are closer than they appear. 1/10,000th scale is usually what orienteering maps are made. Different than adventure racing, all orienteering maps are north or magnetic north is up, so the grid lines are accurate. You do not need to use declination. For orienteering courses, I always use a thumb compass, which means you don't have to hold it. It's kind of attached to your thumb. And then I can have the map in either hand, but typically I try to run with the map in my right hand. I'm thumbing the map as I go along, and then I'm using my compass out in front of me to track where I'm going and make sure I have a bearing. I do wear a backpack and all of these. I have all of my gear for adventure racing and all of that, so I'm definitely not like a typical orienteer. Okay, enough of that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get this thing to zoom in so you can see the map. This is a little awkward. I'm doing it in PowerPoint, so I don't know. I was trying to find a way to do this easy. Okay, a couple of things, and I realize this looks like a complete mess, but I wanted you to see right off the bat. So I did write, for example, right here is the letter R. So checkpoint number 1 was very close to the start finish, and it was a root stock, and it was right off the trail. I went a little too far on this one because, again, the scale of the map was really messing with me. But what I wanted you to see is, and you're not allowed to do this as an orienteer, but you're allowed to do it if you're adventure racing. I write the clues on the map. So if you look at every checkpoint, like checkpoint 20, I have RE, that stands for re-entrant. So over here you'll see knoll. A couple other of them were gullies. This one B is a boulder. Re-entrant there, rootstock there. And so what happens is, as I'm thumbing the map, I don't have to unfold the map, get it situated, and look at the clue on each of the checkpoints. I just put a letter or 2 letters or whatever I need to do there, so that as I'm thumbing the map, I'm actually rotating the map in front of me. And so the map might be upside down. I'm looking at the map in the direction of travel. And so it's really important that you write, I believe it's important that you write the lettering so that it's upright in the direction of travel. So that's why the RE is upside down, because going from 19 to 20, I'm going to have the map upside down. A couple of these others, I also, if you notice here, 199, that was the bearing from 19 to 20 that I was planning on taking, which was in line with the red. Sometimes during this this race, I took trails instead of punching right through the woods, and so sometimes the bearing I wrote on there was from the attack point. But either way, those are some examples of how I marked the map up. I also put dots. Let me see if I can find one real quick. For example, right here, there's a dot where the trail intersection is. So whenever I cross over something, like for example, on this one, instead of following the straight red line all the way over here to 18, I knew that I was going to angle off a little. You see these little dots here? I wrote that on the map. I'm going to aim for that intersection and then attack from the intersection. So that bearing was 31. Instead of taking a bearing on the red, I took my own bearing on 31 using these little dots. And then right here, there's a crossing of a trail. So I put a dot there, and I put a dot on that intersection. Other places, you might see me put a dot on a stream crossing. This was a new thing. I haven't done this a whole lot in adventure racing, but the idea is that when you see the dot, it's a thing that you're looking for as you're going down and up and around and ducking under stuff. You know that that dot is something that once you hit it, stop and just reorient. Oh, I'm at a trail. Oh yeah, there's the dot. Got it. I can keep going. Okay. All right, well, let's dive into this race. I'm going to try to do this pretty quick. See if I can zoom in a little. Nope, that is zoomed in all the way. Okay, so here's the start finish. Shot down this trail and I cut in to hit the rootstock. I went a little bit too deep. Again, I was thinking it's down in that reentrance just a little bit. It was right off the trail, so it was about right there. So I had my first error right out of the gate. I decided I needed to do the beginner course, and then after I'm done with the beginner course, then go into the advanced course where I've already made all my mistakes. But that's just me. Okay, so I'm heading out to checkpoint 2, which is, let me look. I don't even know. Let's see, checkpoint 1. Checkpoint 2 is up there. 1 second. Okay, checkpoint 2 is off the map, so sorry about that. Okay, so here we go. So I'm down here at checkpoint 1. Theoretically, I need to shoot up here to do checkpoint 2, way up here with this huge school. It couldn't be easier, right? I am excited to do this race. Again, dumb error. I start heading north for some reason. I realize I'm off because I'm right next to the road. I'm like, wait a second, I'm next to a road. This shouldn't be the case. I should be out in the middle of this bushwhacky stuff. My intent was to hit this trail, follow the trail, I think, and head over. So either way, I got up here, realized I was too close to this road. That was a rookie mistake. Dove in for compass bearing heading over this direction, passed right through 19, and then I hit that trail, followed the trail in. Instead of taking the trail around and then attacking from there, this map is everything is so close together. Basically, I knew if I just got on that and then paralleled that road, basically, I'd hit that checkpoint. So it was no big deal. Again, rootstock with the R. Turned around, and now let's head over to checkpoint 3. Let me bring this over here. Okay, so I left checkpoint 2. Not sure why I went a little further. I was probably going around a tree or something. There's a lot of down trees and stuff. So if you see me squiggling all over the place, that's me ducking and running and going over stuff and around stuff. Okay, so checkpoint 2. I did pretty good on this one, but I did do a couple things I just want to show you. Basically, instead of taking a straight line, I did take pretty much a straight line. As I'm going through here, I'm counting the waterways, the trails, the water, trail, going down through the boulder field. On this one, I realized this is a big up and over, and I kind of stayed a little bit to the left and then looped back around, because this was pretty steep terrain, actually. So to save a little bit of energy, instead of going up and over, I did go around. And that was a little bit of my intent. Starting about right here, I could see this mountain, or I'd call it a hill maybe, bust around it instead. So this was actually pretty easy, didn't have any problems there. Okay, so let's shoot to 4. This is where I made my big, embarrassing, bobbling mistake. This was so dumb. I did the thing where you put the south-north and the north-south. So I shot off on a compass bearing out here, hit that water, realized I'd made my mistake. That sucked. I'm embarrassed. Either way, I recovered quickly, get all that head trash out, and punched compass bearing. So I'm shooting across over here, over here, over here, over here. Not sure why I'm down here. Weird. Wait, where's number 4? Okay. For some reason I got down here, and then I went up to number 4. And I am just, again, I'm kind of bobbling and looking at this going, why did I do that? That was idiotic. So for whatever reason, that's what I did. So I guess big error, big inefficiency on this. There's no reason to do that. But either way, came up, hit the trail, shot in on 4. I did get 4. So at this point, I was like, just like, this race is not going my way. This sucks. Either way, whatever. That's why we're out here, is to learn. So I leave from 4. Let me see over here. Cross the river, head up to 5. I think I could see the school. Not sure why I didn't go straight. Not sure. That's just maybe going around stuff. Okay, so from 5, we're going to head across to 6. Okay, so you can see the school here. So I skirted the school, hit the trail, kept going in a straight line. It looks like I just nailed 6, just, across that stream right there. You notice the blue dot. So as I'm thumbing the map, I know that's where I needed to be. And if I would have gone straight from 5, I did have a little blue dot there. Okay, so I hit 6, not a big deal. That was pretty easy. Now I got to go across this this roadway. So I just shoot a compass bearing heading for right here, because they basically said this area is off limits. So crossed under. What it ended up being was a tunnel underneath the bridge. So that was actually pretty cool. Water's flowing through it. So I run through the tunnel, pop out. These are power lines, and so they're pretty clear, but it's briars. And I was like, hell with this. I am not going through briars to shoot this point straight. So I ran into the trail, followed up to where the briars and stuff ended, and then once I saw the woods were clear, I shot another bearing and headed in. I could see this tower as part of the power lines, so I was able to kind of orient myself there. So my original plan was to come through here and shoot along this and go through, but I didn't realize this clearing was going to be briars, so that kind of had to readjust on the fly. All right, so that was a re-entrant, as you can see here. Pretty much on this one, just shot a straight bearing, although I did, instead of going up and over that mountain, I went around it and then came in and got it. So this was pretty straightforward. It wasn't too difficult. This one's where it gets a little tricky. This was a big drop-off into a stream. And so I'm trying to get to 9. I knew 9's on the stream, but this was like, you could just tell it was going to be a drop-off. So I cut in early, got down to the stream, and then my intent was to follow the stream until I found it. Which sure enough, I was glad I did that, because once I got about right here, I could see it. Went in and got it. And again, sometimes these overlays are not perfect, so that little divot is probably belongs right there, but whatever. Either way, I got the checkpoint there, no big deal. Perfectly south, just follow the river to get to the next one. Not a big deal. This was another rootstock, although the race director, Mark, was putting, like, if there was a rootstock, as you're coming towards the rootstock, the checkpoint would be on the other side. So as you're going and you start looking around, you got to make sure you look behind you. Because the idea of orienteering, if you can see it through the woods in the wintertime, it's no fun. So they kind of hide it behind stuff. Okay, so this was a good example as I was coming through here. It's like, where's the checkpoint? Where's the checkpoint? And then turned around. And, oop, there it is right behind me. Okay, so in this situation, let's see, I'm going from 10. Oh, back under, okay, so 11 is way down here. So at this point, I knew I just need to get back through the tunnel. So I jumped on the trails and followed the trails. So I ignored the compass bearing. There was no use in doing that. Followed the trails, ran back through the tunnel. This was really steep topo over here, so you kind of had to make a decision. You know, do we want to, follow through this clearing of power lines and crap, or do you want to go around? I pretty much decided to go up the topo a little bit and go around and just stay right outside the clearing and follow it around, and then follow the stream. And you got to make sure you didn't follow this one because it cut off. So I recognized that, and then went up the topo, and as you can see, I had to climb a little bit to get to it, but then hit that point, no problem. Let's see. Okay, so take a compass bearing, shot down. I think this was one of those situations where I did have the blue dot because I wanted to cross the stream, but it was probably something like it was easier to cross down there, so that's why I jumped down, jumped back up, hit that one. No big deal. See here, jumped over to the trail, followed the trail down, squiggled around on the trail. It's just a lot quicker than trying to punch through the woods. This one was right off the trail, so that was actually pretty easy. I'm sorry, this wasn't right off the trail. The next one is. I was following the squiggles on the trail, and I put that blue dot there, showing that this was the bearing. So sure enough, as I was following the squiggles, I recognized where I was, shot into the gully, found the checkpoint, no big deal. I thought about jumping out and getting to the woods, and then I just realized I just need to punch straight through this. It was just so close, and it was just climbing up a hill. So I jumped up onto the trail, followed the trail around, went in and got this one, which was Bendon Trail. And then I didn't even see this there. I wanted to take that. As I was running down the trail, I was going pretty fast. I was thinking, maybe I missed it, maybe I didn't, but who cares? I know where I am. And I just followed this around. And then I looped around, followed the trail on the compass bearing, went up there and popped 15. Instead of running through the woods there, I just followed the trail. That's one reason why I put the dot over here. Dot here means stream crossing. So as the trail crosses the stream, I could count that. There wasn't much of a stream here, but I put another dot here. And then as we're cruising along on the stream, at some point it got, oh, and there's an intersection right there. And at some point it got really close to the stream. And so this was pretty easy. It was like, okay, we're right here on the stream, jumped across, and then shot a compass bearing. You can see I wrote 320 on here. That kind of showed the bearing I needed to get to, and hit that one no problem. Okay, so in this situation, I did something kind of weird. I think I went up a little bit and then decided I was on the wrong compass bearing and then shot over to get 17. So that was kind of odd. I'm not sure why I did that. Probably just an error on my part. So hit 17. Let's see if there's anything on here that's important. Counted the different trails as I crossed. Oh yeah, this is the one where I aimed off just a little bit. I aimed on the 31 bearing instead of aiming directly at it. So I hit this intersection and then from there shot it and got it. So that wasn't a big deal. 18 to 19, not sure why I went there and then over, but whatever. Must have been clear woods or I went around a tree or something. Literally like a tree could block that way, so that's probably what happened. Compass bearing 280, I wrote it on there. Notice I wrote it as I'm looking from 18 to 19. It would be oriented correctly. And then counted the trail crossings and everything, went over there and hit 19. That was pretty straightforward. And then 19 to 20, I pretty much followed the trail around until I got into this reentrant. Again, my track is not directly lined up with the map perfectly, but basically I was running on the trail from here. And then once that trail took that corner, and you can see here is a reentrant, I just knew I needed to run up the reentrant and then continue running the reentrant up to the finish. So all in all, I thought this was a pretty good race. It was a with such a small park, it was a good course design. It was a lot of fun, and I'm going to be uploading a video of the GoPro as I'm doing this race, so you can kind of see what it feels like to be running through the woods and punching checkpoints and having the time of your life. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and get out there and do some orienteering.